Hi, good afternoon. My name is Leo Hurley. I'm an alcoholic. I'm also a drug addict, overeater, compulsive gambler, habitual liar, perennial child, and former master of the universe. And I don't know much about nothing, but I have a sobriety date of 2/19/1973. It should be 6/22/1939. I was born. I should have been taken from the delivery room to an AA meeting. I don't know about anybody else. I hear all these things about I crossed the line. We're all born this way, as far as I'm concerned, because alcoholism doesn't run in my family. It gallops right through it. My grandfather, Big Mike in Brooklyn, was a big bookmaker and a rum runner, and he had 12 kids. They were rum runners and bookmakers. My uncles were Bone Crusher Butch and Gangsy and Muggsy. My father's friends were Frankie Auto Parts and Joey Bag of Donuts and Knuckles O'Toole. And all alcoholics. Had nothing to do with me. You could have put me with the Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family, and I drank socially from the ages of 1 to 13. I was allowed to drink. It was the Second World War. I'd be an army unit. And I really be honest with you, I don't remember the crap doing anything to me or just running around with little beer glasses. It was just a beverage for all I know. I had a good Catholic education. I hear a lot of whiners in AA. I'm a recovering Catholic. I'm not. Catholic Church was good for a guy like me. They wanted me to be shrewd and sharp and tough and strong. They wanted me to go somewhere. I never went anywhere. Someone would say, Leo, why don't you travel overseas? I said, I did. I went to Staten Island. You had to take a ferry in those days, for God's sake. And by the fifth grade, we had a brother Matthias. He used to hold you by the neck, give you the machine gun. Bang, bang, bang. And if you flinched or moved, he started over. We had a little guy, Franny Torrey, used to sit in the front, and he'd fold his eyelids. And I started to laugh. Brother punched me through the wall. But I can't give him up. Because in my neighborhood, you don't see nothing, you don't hear nothing, you don't know nothing. You certainly never admit to nothing, and you certainly never tell nobody nothing. My mother would send me to the doctor and say, don't tell him nothing. I'd say, Mom, it's the doctor. Let him find out. So I didn't have much trouble with those steps when I got here. I didn't have to tell you nothing. Because I'll be honest with you. I said I was an alcoholic and drug addict February 19th, 1973. I had never said those words before. See, I'm a sharp guy from Brooklyn. You get that movie out, Goodfellas, you'll see where I grew up with Henry and Jimmy and Tommy. I know if you say you're a boxer, you ought to be a boxer. You say you're a dancer, you should be a dancer. You say you're an alcoholic, you should never drink again or don't say the damn thing. And that's what I did. I never thought I was alcoholic. I knew where they were, and oh, God, I wasn't want to be one of them. Because I'll be honest with you, I love drinking. And I only needed 2 drinks. One to make me even, 2 to make me superior. That second drink slid down. I was sick. If I took 2 drinks right now, after 49 years, I'd look in the mirror, I'd see Brad Pitt. My head be all blown. Anybody ask you that dumb question, why do you drink? Because it makes me feel better, you jackass. That's why I drink. There's no other reason here. Why do you take those drugs? They make me feel better, you jackass. Why do you think so? I mean, I've done a lot. I work in the field of alcoholism now for the last 40 years, and I've done a lot of studying, and I found the number 1 cause of alcoholism. Women. No. Must be men then, right? No. So it's not men and it's not women. It's not my mommy or my daddy or the Irish or the Catholic Church or any of this other crap I hear going around. Because I was fortunate enough to speak in 1995 at the International Convention in San Diego, and there were 140 nations there, and they weren't all Irish. And at Jack Murphy Stadium that Saturday night, we had 66,000 people, and I got to speak to a bunch of them. And I found out there were 32 different religions, and they weren't all Catholic. So the number 1 cause of alcoholism, alcohol. That's all there is to it. And if you don't believe that, well, I feel real sorry for you. Because as long as I could blame anything other than alcohol and the speed I took, I was never going to get better. And I come from a family where everybody drank. My old man was a big bookmaker. I used to deliver money to this guy, Frank Costello. He used to put money in my pocket and tell me, hey. And I love this. I went to grammar school with these guys. I grew up with these guys. But you can see it. I mean, well, you can't see it. 5'11", 150. I wasn't going to be no tough guy, but I was always street smart. I knew stay out of here. Don't go in there. Don't stay in there. And when I sobered up, I wound up with these coffee trucks out here in Long Island. And the last godfather of the Bonanno family, Big Joe Messino, he had his office here. And Handsome Sal was there, and Raymond and Sammy and Bigfoot. And about 10 years after this, I went to work in the field of alcoholism. And we were having lunch about 8 years later, me and Big Joe, and he said, Leo, what do you do for a living now? I hear such great things about you. what do you do? He says, I hear, said, you help my daughter, you help the kids, guys. I said, what do you do? I said, Jesus, Joe, I do workshops, seminars, lecture. Oh, I said, interventions. Did you see The Sopranos last night? He shot back in that chair. He said, I don't watch that program, Leo. He said, insult to the Italians. He said, anybody ever use that language around my wife or my mother or my daughters, they'd be history. And you know that. Do you watch it? I said, I've never seen the damn thing, Joe, except last night. And I didn't watch it. It was a garbage program. I mean, I don't mind the killing. Some people need that. But that language around women and children, you didn't do that where I come from. You'd have two things in your mouth, a bar of soap and somebody's fist. And I'm Irish. The only difference between an Irish wake and an Irish wedding, one person. Treat them the same. The thing runs. That's all we ever did. And I just love drinking. And then here's what happened. It was June 22nd, 1952. I walked into a schoolyard in Brooklyn. I was going to start hanging around with a street gang. I was only 5'6". I weighed 200 pounds. A little part in my hair, a cowlick. I had a pair of BF Flyer sneakers. We didn't have these Reeboks and all these. I looked like Spanky from our gang. Now I got in there. There's real tough guys in there. They got big DA haircuts and tattoos of mom and dad and murder and riot, kill and shoot someone before you get shot. The girls had on these tight dungarees and whoa. And a little guy, little Augie, just got out of Elmira and he took us into the alley, me and two other recruits. He handed me a bottle of Rango. For anybody to know what that is, that's beer, Brooklyn's best. And I started to drink it. And halfway down, that thing happened to change my life till this day. My feet got hot. I stood up. I thought the guy next to me gave me a hot foot. I was going to poke him. And he shot out the top. And I took another drink. I re-looked. I was 6'5". I had arms on me like that Schwarzenegger guy. I remember looking in the mirror. Half me looked like Clint Eastwood. The other half looked like Warren Beatty. I had that John Gotti for these stuff. Like, get over here. And here's the best part. All those women who frightened me a minute ago were now looking at me saying, take me, Leo, take me. Why wouldn't you drink? I don't got to go to those dumb dances no more without a drink and go up to say, would you like to dance? No, I'd hang myself in the bathroom. God, 2 drinks, right? I don't ask you, man. You don't want to dance? Don't ask me later. I ain't dancing with you. And I like that feeling. Now, that drink cost me hundreds of millions of dollars. There's a lawyer out in Washington. His name is Robert S. Bennett. He was Clinton's lawyer all during his presidency. He's Hillary's lawyer. He's Carl Icahn's lawyer again right now. Guy makes $25 million a year. I went to grammar school, Bobby. I used to box him in a boys' club. He's a tough little guy, but I was twice as smart as him. Except when I picked up that drink in June of 52 till I graduated from grammar school, June of 53, I graduated from grammar school with a 4.0 average. Blood alcohol because I got up in the morning. I had Fruit Loops with Coke because I just wanted that ease and comfort. I never drank to get drunk. And I'll tell you another secret. About a week after this little incident in the schoolyard, my mother says to me, come here, Tubby. And she takes me to a diet doctor. He gives me these little white pills. I lose 60 pounds. I grow 5.5 inches. And I stopped taking them and I gained 60 pounds. So better living through chemistry for the next 19 and a half years. I took like 8 diet pills a day. Pure speed. They'd have made black beauties look like sleeping pills. I was like, I took enough speed to get rid of Richard Simmons' whole crew. I was like a rat on crack. I swear the guy drove at one speed, 100. You cut me up in Brooklyn, I'd chase you to Tennessee to cut your back off, finger out the window. Oh, man, Jesus, what a life this was going to be. And I woke up every morning for the next 19 and a half years. I thought of 3 things. Drinking, money, and sex. That's all occupied my mind. I wasn't interested in world affairs. I didn't give a damn who the president was. I knew who all the wise guys were. But I did fairly well at 2 of them. You see anybody with my color hair telling you they went into bar, had a lot of sex. I went in there. I had said in 20 years I had sex twice. You went to bed with me, you got a good night's sleep. Because I was in a hurry to get going. I couldn't wait around anymore. God almighty, what a thing. And I learned all the jackass things a guy like me would learn. Friday and Saturday night in my neighborhoods was shark skin suit night. I would wear these $1,000 suits. I didn't pay for them. They fell off trucks and wound up in my father's bar. I'd have these $500 shoes. I used to think I looked like John Travolta with Elvis hair. Taking all the speed, I looked more like Keith Richards with Elvis hair, all sucked in, and I'd have diamond rings on. I'd come into the Copacabana, which is a beautiful place. I was allowed to drink in there at 15. Now I'm a big mouth with my friends, very shy with the women. And I'd look down, way down, I see a nice looking babe. I'd give her a big wink. So I think I'll ask her to dance. I'd have about 20 quick drinks. I was just taking this speed allowed me to do three things real well. I could outdrink everybody. I could take a good punch, and I was delusional as hell. I mean, God, I woke up, I was going to be discovered. For what, I don't know, and I didn't really care. I wasn't going to do nothing. You know, the promises says they will materialize if you work for them. I don't want to work for them. Just give me the stupid things. And I went on like this, mother of God, because, you know, when you drink that way, you got to go to the bathroom. So you run in there and you pick up that toilet seat with your foot. God forbid, I'm like a surgeon in that bathroom at 9 o'clock at night. 4 o'clock in the morning, my tongue is in that bowl throwing up and I'm full of pigeon. There's a great movie out called Blind Date with Bruce Willis. He goes out with an alcoholic and they tell him, don't give her a drink. Well, he does. You should see what happens to him. And the next night, car door's missing. He goes through a powder factory. The boyfriend's chasing him. That's what my cars always look like. Because I'm proud now. I have a fairly new car outside my house. All 4 doors are the same color. It's nice. It really is. And that would happen to me every Friday. So I didn't give a damn. And here's the state I'm in. It's 1959. I'm selfish, self-centered, self-seeking, full of self-delusion, wallowing in self-pity. I'm full of jealousy and lust. I'm vulgar and foul-mouthed. I decided I better get married. Now, in the next 10 years, I asked 10 of them to marry me. Only 4 of them were stupid enough to go up the aisle with me. I married 4 of the prettiest, gorgeous, caring, sharing, Mother Teresa type women. When I finished with them, Freddy Krueger wouldn't have them. They were vicious and vindictive and full of wrath and carrying weapons. I mean, I never hit them. You never hit a woman in my life. My name would get your jaw broken for that, but I'll be right back. I don't come back for 3 days. My wife ever did that, I'd have put her on the back of a horse and whipped her all the way through Brooklyn. And I thought it was okay. Yeah, I'll see you later, but oh, God. I divided up the house evenly with 4 women. They got the inside, I got the outside. And every one of my wives, as soon as they moved, they changed their name to the plaintiff. And I don't blame them. I mean, oh, God. If anybody did to me what I did, and I, like I said, spiritually meant me or emotionally, I'd have killed them. And I went on like this. 1962, I bought a bar. I didn't actually buy it. My old man owned it, but he was on the known gangster list. So they put it in my name. I loved this. Dean Martin was my idol. I used to drink with him over in Toots Shores. Him and Gleason. And I drank with everybody. I was a well-liked guy all over, except at home. I just went out to have fun. I wasn't interested in fighting, which I had guys who would do that for me. I just wanted to have fun, and taking this speed, I was in another world. I saw it was great. And I lived upstairs in this bar. I was going to put a fire pole in and come down in the morning, like Dino used to do. And I made my first AA meeting in June 1st, 1964. I was in front of a federal judge downtown Brooklyn. I had on my $1,000 suit, my $500 pair of shoes, and handcuffs. And he's got all these charges, guns. So he says to me, Mr. Hurley, just what do you think the problem here is? Oh, I said, the Italians. He said, the what? I said, I hang around with these crazy, I'm married. He said, get him at it. No, he said, get back here. I want you to go to AA. Holy God. I'm a sharp guy. I turned around that courtroom, make sure no one heard that. See, because I know where alcoholics are in New York. They're over in the Bowery. And I knew how they got there. They popped up through the concrete. Poof. They had sex, had little bums, and they all went to those meetings. But I got to go, or otherwise it's Rikers and then Sing Sing. So I go and I call up Intergroup, and the woman says to me, Jesus, Leo, you're in luck. We got a meeting right on your corner. I said, lady, are you crazy? Suppose somebody sees me. She said, where would you like to go? I said, San Francisco. I can get out there this weekend. So we set line, Bay Ridge, in case anybody here, the yes end of Brooklyn, the beginning, in case you come from there. And I went on a Friday night. I put on my black suit, black shirt, black hat, black tie, black sunglasses. I looked like Zorro coming into this thing. And this was an old people's meeting. If you check with Intergroup, the average age in 1964 was 55. Old 55, old musty Irish people. They looked like God's waiting room. So I come flying in the door. I said, the guy, come here. Who's in charge here? He said, what? I said, where's that Wilson guy? He said, me, sit down. Where's that Wilson guy? And I sat down. I look around. I see all these dumb things. Be nice. Live and let live. But for the grace of God. And then I seen the slogan I like. Said exit. So out I went, but I had to go to meeting. Third meeting in, I meet Bill Wilson. I said, hey, Bill, come here. I got this thing from probation. I figured get the president of the company signed. It'll look good. He said, what's your name? I said, Leo. He says to me, are you an alcoholic? I said, Bill, take a look. Are you sick? And he said something I never forgot. He said to me, rarely have we seen a person get sober who continues to drink. I said, well, that makes sense to me, Jack. I didn't say it to him. And for the next 8.5 years, I never relapsed. I went to AA, but I never said I was an alcoholic. I just kept drinking. If I said I was an alcoholic, I knew what they shouldn't do. And I got thrown out of my own bar. I got barred by my father, my grandfather, January 6th. But I'm a hustler. I went to work in New York. I'm a shop guy. I got a nice job in Wall Street. And I could always work. I was up 23 hours a day, so I could, if I had to be at work at 9, I got there at 8. We left at 5, I left at 7. Oh, God. And then what happened was, this thing started to float along. In February of 1972, I got in trouble with this counterfeit money. My brother came to me, he's in law enforcement. He said, I'll help you out, but you got to stop taking those diet pills. They're the problem. I threw them away. And I gained about 150 pounds in 2 weeks. I rocketed from 140 to 290. I'm 5 engine red, blood pressure at stroke. I look like a tomato with a tie on. I'm all blown up. I ain't got these $1,000 suits. I got a car outside. Looks like I won the demolition derby. This sucks. And April 1st, I woke up shaking. I don't know if that's ever happened to anybody, but that's the worst. I wasn't shaking. I was humming. Oh, my God. And you know, paranoia, they say that's indigenous with cocaine. I never used cocaine because it really wasn't around. I was so paranoid at the end of my drink, and I thought the guy in front of me was following me. That's how paranoid I had come. I went up to some guy on Wall Street. I said, who said it? He turned around. What? And I wouldn't go to football games anymore because I knew in the huddle they were talking about me. This sinks. Oh, my God. And I lived in a 4-room apartment in Brooklyn. We had 4 kids and beer. My wife didn't sort of object to beer. So I didn't like beer, but I would wrap it up in a towel, take it into the bathroom with a big pot. And beer makes noise. I don't give a damn what you do with it. I throw the pot up in the air, flush the toilet, and the thing goes psst. My wife would say, what's that? I'd say, bees. Then now I'd have 6 beers, 3 shots. I'm getting drunk. I don't like drunk. Drunk sucks. Did you ever try and act sober when you're drunk? Leo, you drinking? No. The reason I got fired for this nice job in Wall Street, I worked for the big firm in Merrill Lynch, Pierce Fenner, and Leo Hurley. I thought I was a partner in the place. The reason I got fired, I got on the elevator with my boss at about 8:30, 8 o'clock. And did you ever try to hold your breath for 39 floors? Jesus, I was passing out. And then they called me in, they fired me. But it showed you the arrogance. We had just moved into the steel building, 50 stories, 40,000 employees. I went down, I said, I'll give them a week and they'll fold. I went home and I told my wife, if they called you, tell them I ain't here. And I just checked my machine before I went on this program. They ain't called me yet. Never. Now I got problems. You know how hard it is? Oh, and I only had 1 suit left. I paid like $19.95 for this suit in Lou Levy in Canal Street. It's a wash and wear. And when it rains, it shrinks. I'm trying to crowd 150 pounds into it. I got 1 pair of shoes left. I used to pay $500 for these little pointy Italian guys. Now, when I got sick, when I was a shop guy, I'd throw up, I'd lean way out. You know, you'd never throw up into the wind. Now I'd be standing there and I'd go, it should be all over my shoes. I probably had a pot pie the night before, so there's peas and carrots stuck in there. And I would put them under the radiator to dry out. They curled up like elf shoes. You had to see this. And I would get dressed and try to go to work. Oh, my God. I'd go on a job interview. The guy'd have my resume. Wow, Mr. Hurd, this looks nice. He had his own business, a loan collector, worked for Merrill Lynch. But, oh, my God. Send Mr. Hurley in. He'd look up. What the hell is this? I'm 290 pounds. I got an attaché case. I got run over by a garbage truck. My God, I got hair stood up like Don King. And, Jesus, I got all my teeth knocked out. So I got false teeth. And I got gum and mints and clarettes and this painkiller, Benzoin. I'd go like this, and the stuff would all ooze out green. I didn't feel it. The guy pressed for security. Now I can't get a job. And I'm drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning in a Blarney Stone. I wouldn't even fly over this place. And I'm drinking with 4 other jackasses, and we're watching Captain Kangaroo. And we're talking like he's our friend. Hey, the captain said. I come home 2 weeks in May, before the end of May of 72, and I said to my wife, she said to me, when you get the job? I said, I got one. She said, where? I said, I can't tell you. I'm working undercover government securities. Now I got to leave to go to a job I don't have. But I knew during this 2 weeks, someone was going to discover me. I would get $1 million in inheritance from something. You know, it's just that crazy ass thinking. I was going to win the lottery. I didn't have a ticket, but I'm going to win it. And you know what happened? Nothing. I come home this night. Yeah, it was June 1st. I knocked on the door. I figured when she opens the door, bingo, ping. I said, no, I never hit a woman in my life. I hated that crying crap. I've done that. I remember to one of my wives, I said, nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. You know, I said, I'm my own worst enemy. She said, not as long as I'm alive, you ain't. I said, and that's what we do. We bring out the worst in nice people. That's the baddest part of this at all. Oh, my God. My 4 kids had bumper stickers the size of flags with mean people suck, and had my picture all over it. And I didn't like that. Never hit the girls. The boys might have got a little tap once in a while. But, God, that's not the way I wanted to live. And my wife said, why don't you go to AA? Woo! I flew down to this Flatbush Beverly group. I go flying up to the door. You had to see me, 290 pounds, frying engine red, blood pressure at stroke level. I got an attaché case, got run over by a garbage truck. It's all mangled, my curled up shoes. The guy at the door said, how you doing? I said, wonderful. He said, are you an alcoholic? I said, no, my wife said. He said, sit down. And I sat down in this room, and I look around, and 4 guys I thought died in my neighborhood came out of the kitchen. They come running over to me. They said, how you doing? I said, oh, you know, okay. I'm getting better. They said, okay, good. We'll pick you up tomorrow night. I said, what for? They said, a meeting. I said, no, I'm okay. They said, no, wise guy, we'll pick. And I was afraid of these guys. These were violent suckers. There's a bar in Brooklyn called the Gemini Lounge. And these companies were in there. The Gemini Lounge had a book written about it called Murder Machine. Roy owned the place. I knew him. But the big thing in there was you walked in there and you fouled up with somebody. They say, hey, come on in the back. You walk in the back. They close the door. Bang. They shoot you in the head, put a bag around your head, put you in the tub to harden up. They chainsaw you, put you in bags out in the dumpster. And then this dumpster would take you over to Fountain Avenue, which is the biggest dump in Brooklyn. And then you go in a couple of weeks later, you'd say to Roy, have you seen Leo Hurley around? He'd say, have you looked on Fountain Avenue? So you didn't really want to get in any trouble. I said, these guys, I'll be ready. And they took me. But I wasn't an alcoholic. I liked the stories. There were mostly open meetings in those days. You didn't have to say you're an alcoholic. And I wasn't gonna. And it came, well, I guess I got another job on Wall Street. And then I moved from Brooklyn out to Long Island. And here's where it goes. I stopped going to meetings. Now I don't know if anybody else can identify with this, but I have voicemail up in my head. I still have them to this day. I've had them since I've been born. And they do not like me. I call them the Get High Committee because they want me to drink again. They start in every morning. You suck. You're ugly. You're a jackass. You're no good. Your kids. I say, good morning, people. And, you know, now they're charting it. I don't like this. But I do certain things not to entertain them after 49 years. I don't get in the car with that boom, 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 beep, beep. I play AA tapes, Tony Robbins. Because I almost died about 8 years ago from this Wegener's disease. Only me and Wegener got it. And the doctor come in, he says to me, what's your blood type? I said, how would I know? He said, well, tell me about something about yourself. Maybe I can help you. I said, oh, well, gee, I said, I'm an alcoholic and drug addict. Oh, he says, I know your blood type. Be negative. He's right. I got to stop with that crap. Be negative. I got to be A positive at all times. So if anybody's having any trouble and things bother you, give me them and I'll call you up. Collect. Once or twice a week. You suck. You're ugly. And I didn't think you're going to take that phone call too long. So when a brain calls you up with that crap, hang up. You're ugly. Well, maybe I am. Who cares? And anyway, oh, my God. And then I worked out. See, I got in a fight with this guy, Frankie, in Brooklyn in June of 65. He beat the hell out of me. So I went down to YMCA. I learned Kung Fu, eye shot, throw shot, boom, bang, boom. And I worked out for 5 months. I went back. Frankie beat the crap out of me again. So I went home and I wrote in my book, never fight with Frankie again. And I circled that. And every time I'd see him, I'd say, hey, Frank, how you doing? Good, Leo. How are you? I said, good. Hey, how you, little guy? he'd say, wow, oh no, that's nice, Stephen. That's good, and I would do that. And I like doing that stuff. But what happened was I started to go to meetings with no meetings. Then I got in trouble with this stuff. It was Christmas Eve of '72. We had a party and I took a drink. In fact, I took a bunch of drinks. I woke the next morning. I wasn't shaking. I wasn't gagging. I woke up. I went and I said, wrong guy. I knew it. And I did the same thing New Year's Eve. Wrong guy. See, they were jackasses. I was wrong guy. And guess what? 6 weeks later, I'm crawling around the bathroom floor like an animal, throwing up, teeth in the bowl, broken. I had a car outside. It looked like I won the demolition derby. And Jesus, that sucks. I can't. And then my daughter says, Dad, the phone for you. Now, I sponsor a lot of people. And, some people, I got to watch the Yankees tonight. I got nothing against that, except I was a big fan of all of them. No Yankee, no Dodger, no Jet, no Met, no Ranger called me. It was a guy from AA. Of course, my friend Nutsis Jr. called up this guy, Chicky O'Friel, and he says to me, where you living? I said, over here in Massapequa. He said, you want to go to a meeting? I said, no, thanks. He said, good, I'll be right over. And he takes me up to this turnpike group in Levittown. I met the greatest men and women I've ever met in my life. There were about 30 of them, sober anywhere from a year to 25 years. And here's what they told me. What part of no more drinking don't you understand, Leo? This is Alcoholics Anonymous. We do not drink here no more. Do you understand that? You got any brain damage for the second? No. He said, well, then you can't be insane enough to pick up a drink. I said, no. And then Joe Daler said to me, I got the 4 greatest words I ever heard because I said to Phil and Eddie, I can't get sober. I had a tough childhood. They said, it's over. Stop the crap. That was their big saying. And then I said to Joe, this AA don't work for me. What should I do different? He said, stop drinking. And then he said, are you an alcoholic? And I said, yes. And I knew I should never drink again. I'm not a dumb person. My neighborhood in Brooklyn, you say you're a boxer, you better be one. You say you're a dancer, you better be one. You say you're an alcoholic, you shouldn't drink again. I'm not stupid. And nobody liked to drink more than me. Even right now, if I took 2 drinks, I'd look in the mirror, I'd see Brad Pitt. My hair'd be all blonde. I'd be 50 years younger. And then next week, I'd be in Attica somewhere, probably facing life in prison for some stupid thing. If we had a guy up in the North Shore out here relapse after 30 years, I think in August, and now he's facing life in prison. He had a head-on collision and killed a woman drunk, and now he's going away for life. So I don't want that. We hear about relapses. Good. Well, let me tell you, in a slip, here's the thing. I spoke at a meeting the other night, and a guy explained what his sponsor told him 40 years ago about a slip. You're walking across 48th and 2nd Avenue and 48th and 8th Avenue, and it's an ice storm, and you slip into the ice, and you slide across the thing, you slide up the curb, you slide into a bar, you hit that bar, and the bottle of whiskey turns over and pours a drink in your mouth. You slip, and no problem. You pick up a drink, you did it yourself. Stop the crap. I drank because I wanted to. There's no such thing as a slip. That garbage. But I had to get active and stay active, and that's the key to success in this program for a guy like me. I got a sponsor that night. He had a sponsor. He had a sponsor. And I worked this program hard all day long if I want to stay sober. When I don't want to, and I hear this crap, if I drink, I'll die. I wouldn't. I'd live another 40 years. I could see it now. Shuff, can I sleep on your couch? Can you drive me somewhere? I'd rather whack it and ask you. I see a guy sitting there, his wife's driving. I say to myself, look at this jackass, got a DWI, has to have his mommy drive him somewhere. And I sort of got in a little trouble for that. I was teaching my 16-year-old granddaughter how to drive, and she pulled up, and my daughter said, called me up and said, Dad, what'd you say to Madison? I said, I don't know why. Well, we pulled up the other night, some guy's sitting in his wife's car, and she said, Ma, look at this jackass. He got a DWI. Has to have his mommy drive him somewhere. She said, who told you that? She said, Grandpa. Real men drive. You got your own keys, and you stay there. And I got to stop playing all the garbage program, and I got to work on this brain of mine, because the Get High Committee is with all of us, and it still wants us back again. And I just got to tell it to shut the hell up. And, it's not a hard deal to work this program. I asked my sponsor, how many meetings should I go to? They said, Leo, and you would love this guy. He looked like my cousin Vinny, and he was half Irish and half Italian from South Bronx. I knew that. He spoke with one hand. Motivated, too. Come here, Leo. Good to see you. And I said, how many meetings should I go to? He said, Leo, for a guy like you, go to as many as you can in the first year, and then cut it down to one a night, and you'll be all right. And he's right. It's 49 years, 3 months, and 12 days later, and I do exactly what he said. Sometimes I miss a meeting, but I've got so many meetings in the bank from going to 5 a day when I was out. But I know one thing, I don't disconnect myself to the fact every morning I wake up, I say, God, please don't have me drink today and take drugs. Please help me with that. And that's where I go. That's why, and if you don't remember that, I feel real sorry for you. Because I'll be honest with you, only 3% of us get better. 7% are in and out, and the other 90 never make it. Sad, but that's what you do, and you get going, and you can have some fun in this program. Really, I've spoken all over the country, and the best was though about 10 years ago I was asked to speak. A guy calls me up. I live part-time up in New Hampshire, and he calls me up. He says, Bill, my name is Wade. I'm the chairman of the New England Young People in AA. He said, and we're having our regional national convention this weekend in Nashville, and we'd like you to be the Saturday night speaker. I said to the guy, do you know who you're talking to, 13 to 19? He said, oh, yeah, we heard your CD. You were the unanimous choice. I said, okay. I show up. There's 500 kids. 313 to 16. I look around. I get up there like this. I'm dressed just like this. I said, my name's Leo Hurley. I'm an alcoholic, a drug addict. And I'm going to be honest, for the first time in my life, I'm really 19, but this is what drinking and drugging does to you. Well, they laughed the rest of the night. I had a ball with these kids. But the best part was 6 months later, I went up there and I went to the meeting and I walked in. It's an anniversary. And the tables, I'm walking down. This young girl jumps up and said, that's him. I said, no, girl, I couldn't even think of what the hell you're talking about. It's not me. Wrong guy. The guy's got arms like legs. I got no weapon. I said, oh, my God. He gets up. She said, that's him. That's Leo Hurley. I said, oh, okay. Guy comes over and says, Leo, my name's John. He said, that's my little girl. He said, she was at that thing you done 6 months ago. He said, I want to tell you something. She's been on fire for recovery. She listens to your CD. She quotes you. She takes me everywhere. She takes me to meetings. We have meetings at the house. She has a sponsor. He said, and he started to cry. He said, I want to thank you for giving me back my little girl. I said, John, you need to thank God in AA, not me. He said, well, how about if I thank God in AA for you? Oh, I said, that's nice. I like that. And he walked out. And so what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to go home, say a prayer. Thank God for every one of you people being here today, because without you, there is no me. And I'll close and let you talk a little. Nobody told you they love you today? Neither do I. Get over it and have a nice day. Thank you.